Okay, we shall start our discussion. So today we are going to discuss about the project which is churn modeling. Okay, so churn modeling we are going to discuss. So churn modeling is the problem statement which is used to predict whether a customer of a bank is going to stay in the bank itself. That means he he'll have the he'll continue to have the account in the bank, or he'll exit from that bank. So based on certain conditions, based on certain features, we need to predict that what kind of customer he is. Okay, so he's whether he is a person or he's a customer who is going to stay in the bank itself, or else he's going to exit from the bank. That means you're going to or a ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಲ್ಲಿ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಇಡ್ತಾರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬೇರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರಾ, ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪ್ರೆಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಚರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಂಗ್. ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಚರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ start work for this project, so we should know that what are all the steps we need to follow in machine learning process. For some of you it may be a repeated concept, but for some of you it's not a known thing. Okay, it's not clear. Okay, so first write down the steps which have to be followed in any machine learning process. That means when you are given with a problem statement and you told to solve that problem using the machine learning algorithms. Okay, so how you are going to solve that problem? Okay, what are the steps you are going to follow to solve that problem using machine learning algorithms? Okay, so the first step is become just a sec. Okay, so the steps to follow in ML process are as below. Okay, you need to follow the below steps to solve any problem. Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, this is not my group project, ma'am. My group project is hard disease.
Okay, but the projects are shuffled because like multiple colleges chooses the same project. Okay, so if you are interested to work on the same like whatever the data set you have collected, so you can work on that itself. But the basic idea you need to know how you are going to solve it, right? For that purpose,
Okay.
you can collect the data set and the program in the classroom. Okay, we have provided that also. Okay, so first thing you need to
Okay.
know how to solve any kind of machine learning problem. Okay, so in this class we are going to work on churn modeling, but the same step you can use it for hard disease prediction also. Okay, but the data set you need to change and the analysis you need to change. Okay, the features are considered there are different and the target is different. There you are going to find out whether a person is suffering from a heart disease or not based on certain features, based on certain health conditions or test results, right? So here you are going to find out whether a person is going to stay in the bank or is going to closes his account from that bank, from a particular bank. Okay, named like ABC, considered current for a current instance the bank name is ABC. Okay, so based on certain features you are going to find out that. So both are for classification problem itself, right? So the same steps you can use. Okay, the main thing is you need to understand the data set and the problem statement and how we are going to solve it and which algorithm you are going to use and why. Fine. So you can use the same steps whatever we are going to mention here and you can follow the same way, as it is as both the problems are of classification problems. You can solve that problem also using the same way, using the same steps, and using the same models also. Fine. You can find the data set and the complete program in the classroom. In the Google Classroom we have uploaded it. You can find that, you can download that, and you can work on that. Fine. Fine. So the first steps you need to follow in any machine learning process are: the first step is to collect the data. So before starting of any work to solve the problem, towards solving the problem, so you need to know what kind of data it needs, what kind of problem it is, what kind of data it needs, what's the features, how many samples I have to collect. So all these things you are going to do. You're going to collect the data, and you're going to search for the resources to collect the data. It may be it may be like surveying, it may be from websites, it may be from the books. You can go and talk to the person, talk to the people, and you're going to collect the information. And you can search for the different websites. You can search for different data sets to collect the data, and you may get contact with if you have any contact with the expert person, and you can talk to them, and you can get the information. And from the articles, from the journals, so from all these things you can go and search for data which is needed to solve the problem. Okay, so the first time you are going to collect the data from the different sources, and you can find out the ready data, the structured data from the different sources also, like different websites also. Okay, so the first step is how we are going to collect the data. Okay, so if you are given with a problem statement, you need to understand thoroughly what kind of problem it is, what we need to solve the problem. Okay, so that thing you need to know, and then you are going to start collecting the data. Fine. So the next step is, after collecting the data, we need to know, before processing it, so what are all the basic library support you have in the machine learning field to solve the problem, whatever the problem statement given to you. So to solve the problem, you need to know that which are all the libraries which are available in Python. So as you are going to solve it by using the Python machine learning with Python, so what are all the libraries which are available, you're going to import it. Okay, so import the libraries. Okay, so after importing the libraries, that means after importing the necessary libraries, basic libraries which are needed to solve your problem, then you are going to import or load or read your collected data set. Okay, whatever the information you are going to collect, you have collected in the previous step, you are going to read, or you are going to load the data set into your program. Okay, so that's what you are going to read here by using the pandas library, like by using variables and the library support called read_csv. Okay, so like df equals pd dot read underscore csv. So you're going to import the data set, right? So then in the same way, you're going to import the different kinds of data set what you have collected in the different formats. Okay, it may be in the .csv format, it may be in the .htf format, it may be in the .json format, it may be in the Excel sheets, XLSX. Okay, so in the different formats it will have, and you can collect information in any of these formats and read or load those data set into your programs. To process that data set, whatever the information you have collected, you need to import that into your program, into your application. So then only you can process it, you can modify it, and you can able to predict something, right? So for that purpose, you need to load the data set into your program. Okay, so after this step, you are going to perform EDE. That means you are going to explore your data set, you are going to study your data set, whatever the information you have collected. So what kind of features you have collected, what are all the, how many features you have collected, and how many samples you have collected, and what are all the data types of the different features which are present in your data set, and what type of values you have stored, and what are all the different data types, and how many data typed specific data typed features and samples you have. Is there any missing values, is there any categorical values, and what kind of what kind of distribution is present in your data set, and how one feature and other feature is related or dependent or correlated. Okay, so those things you need to know. Okay, so that thereby you are going to analyze your data. So how the data is distributed, how one feature is affecting another feature, how one feature is impacting changes on the other feature. So that you should know by analyzing it. Okay, by plotting graphs, by making use of the methods which are defined inside the libraries. You are going to analyze your data set. Okay, so which is the independent variable, which is the dependent variable, how many data samples you have, and how much can be used for training purpose, how much can be used for testing purpose. So all such things will be explored. And is there any highly correlated data which may be present in your data set, so that that you need to find, and which is the most important feature and which is not the most important feature, which is the feature which is neglectable. So all such things you are going to explore in this stage, exploratory data analysis. Okay, so after performing data analysis, you came to know that how many features we have, how many samples we have. Features are nothing but the columns. Okay, how many columns we have, that are nothing but how many features. Okay, and the samples are nothing but rows, how many rows we have in our data set. So that that represents the samples of the data set, samples which are collected in the data set. Okay, so after exploring the data set, you are going to know about the features, count of features, data type of features, samples count, and is there any missing value, is there any categorical value, and is a feature scaling is needed. So all such things you are going to understand. Okay, so after performing exploratory data analysis, you need to perform data pre-processing. Okay, so after performing EDA, you need to perform data pre-processing. That means after getting understand with the data set, you need to pre-process the data in which is required with to convert the data set into a format which is required by the algorithm, any machine learning algorithm. Okay, so to feed any data set into to the any machine learning algorithm, you should convert it, you should pre-process it, and you should convert the entire data set into the format which is required by that machine learning algorithm. Okay, so and any machine learning algorithm will not going to read categorical data directly, and it expects the data set should be free from the missing values. And feature scaling is optional, and we have to provide the training set separately and test set separately to predict the results and to test the model. Okay, so for such things we need to pre-process the data before feeding any data set to any machine learning algorithm. We have to pre-process the data in the format to convert that data set into the format which is needed by the algorithm, okay, or the model. Okay, so and in the next step, so after performing data pre-processing, so in the data pre-processing step, you are going to handle missing data, and you are going to handle categorical data, and you are going to do feature scaling, and you are going to split train test data. So your data set into a train test data. Okay, so all these things you are going to Okay, so for handling missing data, you have three different ways. One is by just removing entire sample from the data set which contains the missing data, and other by using the strategies. You can use any strategies to fill out the missing values, and you can and the third way is you can manually search for the missing places and fill it by using any techniques. Okay, like by just using the random values, filling it with the random values, or you can just type and fill the missing values. Okay, and handling categorical data is also called as imputing. So here you are going to convert categorical data into numerical data, because any machine learning algorithm does not read the categorical data directly, and you should convert it to numerical data and then need to feed it to the machine learning algorithm. Okay, so for that purpose you need to handle with the categorical data, and the process of handling categorical data is called as encoding. Okay, and the process of handling missing data is called as imputing. Okay, so process of handling missing data is called as imputing, and the process of handling categorical data is encoding. Okay, so after that you are going to do rescale the feature. That means and this step is taken when you have your features with a different scales. Okay, when you have your features with a different scales, and in such cases the priority for the features will be deferred, and that may affect negatively for the accuracy of the model. Okay, so and the results and the predictions which are obtained from the model. So for that purpose we need to scale, we need to reconstruct, we're going to modify the feature values in our data set to be in the specific scale, either from 0 to 1 or from -1 to 1. Okay, so like such we are going to do feature scaling, and after this process we are going to convert the entire data set into a train and test split. Okay, so train and test split. So all these steps are optional as per the requirement. If your data set contains any missing data, then you have to perform handling with the missing data, then you have to perform imputing, otherwise this step is not needed. And if your data set contains any categorical data, then only you have to perform encoding, otherwise it is not needed. And feature scaling, if your features are important, even though they have the different features and they are important to have those values itself, then you need not to perform feature scaling, you have to keep it as it is. Okay, so and the next, coming to the splitting the data set into a trained test data, this is the mandatory thing you need to follow. Okay, so you have to split the entire data set into a trained data set and a test data set, because training data set is needed to training data set is needed to train the model, and test data set is needed to evaluate the model. Okay, so and after splitting the entire data set into a trained and test data, so these steps are it's not mandatory that this should be in this order itself, but better to follow this order, so then it will be work easier. Okay, your work will become easier. Fine. And after performing data pre-processing step, your work is to select the model. Okay, next step is model selection. Okay, so after performing data pre-processing, your data is now ready to feed to any machine learning algorithm. Okay, so now it's the stage to decide which algorithm we have to use. Okay, so if for this purpose we need to check out for the problem statement. Okay, so what's the problem statement? Need to find out the churn of a customers among all the customers. Okay, that means if you are finding out any continuous values like salary of a person, rainfall quantity, or age of a person, height of a person, or weight of a person, okay, lifespan, so like such things if you are finding out, so then that means you are going to finding a regression, you're going to solving regression kind of problem. Okay, so if you are intending to calculate continuous values, intending to predict the continuous values, then such kind of problems comes under the regression kind of problems. Okay, and in such cases you are available with the two different models. One is simple learning regression algorithm, and another one is multiple linear regression algorithm. Okay, so simple linear algorithm will be used when you have the single independent data set and single dependent single dependent feature. Okay, so and multiple linear regression will be used when you have more than one independent feature to predict the output of a dependent feature. Okay, so in like this way you are going to find it. Okay, so and coming to the other part, so if you are finding out the discrete values, if you are intending to predict the discrete values or the classes or the labels, then so such kind of problems comes under the classification kind of problems. Okay, in such cases you have to decide which algorithm have to be used to predict the class. So in this problem you have to predict the class of a person, whether he is going to retain in the same bank or is going to exit from the bank. Okay, such and in such cases classification kind of algorithms will be used. So if you are confused with which algorithm should be used, then go for all the algorithms which you have knowledge about. Then test for the accuracy, and which model will give you the more accuracy, go for that. Okay, and which suits your which suits your problem statement also. Okay, so in this way you are going to select the model. Okay, ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡಾಟಾ ಸೆಟ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಲ್ಗಾರಿದಮ್ಸ್, ಯಾವ ಅಲ್ಗಾರಿದಮ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಕಲಿತೀರ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ after the selection of the model, so now our data set is ready to feed it to the algorithm. Next thing need to do is model selection. So now we have a clear intention that so we have to predict the class of a particular class of a customer, whether he is going to exit or retain. Okay, so such kind of things we are going to find out. So that means you are going to find out the discrete values, either yes or no. Okay, that means classification kind of algorithm. So in classification algorithm you have explained with k nearest neighbor algorithm and decision tree algorithm. So you can use any of these. Okay. And after selecting the model, now I have selected the model. I have to use the decision tree or k nearest neighbor algorithm or the random forest algorithm to predict the result. Okay, so my model selection is done. Okay, so after model selection is done, I have to combine these two. This model has I have to make this model to work on the collected data set, what we have collected. Okay, what we have collected on this data set, this model has to work. So for that purpose we need to train the model. Okay, so for this purpose we have to train the model. Model has to be trained by using the trained data, both for dependent and independent features what we have splitted in the EDF phase itself. And for both the parts you are going to split the train and test portions, and the test portions of both dependent and independent features are used to train the model. Okay, so after training the model, so we have to test the accuracy of the model. So testing the accuracy of the model is nothing but model evaluation. So different metrics are available in Python to evaluate the model, like accuracy score, F1 score, recall, precision, R1 score, auto score. So like such different metrics are available, so that you can use any of this to check the accuracy of the model. Okay, so after training the model we have to test the accuracy of the model. Okay, the last step becomes model deployment. Okay, so after testing the accuracy, now we are confirmed that your model is giving, once you got the results like your model is giving high accuracy, then you can use it for predicting the results. Okay, so for that purpose you need to give a new sample, new instance of the independent features, and then you are going to feed to the model. So using those values, your model, trained model, will give you some result, and that result is what the class for that data set. Okay, so those things we have to follow in solving any machine learning algorithm. Okay, so make a note of these things. So once you finish, please let me know. So these are all the steps you need to follow when you came across in solving any machine learning algorithm. Okay, so note these things. So it will be used for any kind of data set, you can take and work on, you can start work on that. Just follow these steps. Okay, so you'll be available, you'll be get the results for getting the fruitful results. So please follow these steps. Okay, ಯಾವುದೇ ಡಾಟಾ ಸೆಟ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾದರೂ ಈ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದರೆ ಆಯಿತು, ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡನ್. Okay, so you need to be more concentrated, which features are considered, features are collected and considered as a dependent and independent features, and which algorithm, which method has to, which strategy has to be used to fill out the missing data and to convert the categorical into numerical data, and do we need to do feature scaling or not, and test split is common for any kind of machine learning algorithm, and which model we have to use, and which accuracy we can consider, and finally model, how can we deploy the model. So these things you need to know. Okay, so write a note of these things, and once you are finished, please let me know. If you finish taking, so once you finish taking, please let me know. Okay, so we shall start working with our data set.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Have you uploaded recent classes videos in YouTube, ma'am?
Not yet, dear. So it's quite technical issues. Like it's in the processing stage itself. So due to network drop,
So,
it is stopped there itself. Okay. Within
you
this weekend, you'll
uploaded.
get all the videos.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
It's okay. Guys, finish taking.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So we shall start working with the data set. Okay. So first thing, collecting the data. So collecting data, we can search for the websites, or we can search for the different sources. We can search for the different databases to collect the data. Okay. So I have collected one such source and collected the data set. Okay. So that is churnmodeling.csv. Okay, so this will be the data set what I have collected to solve this problem. Okay, so next you are going to import the libraries. Okay, so what are all the basic libraries you need to solve the problem? So in a like any machine learning algorithm, what are the basic libraries you have studied, you have came across? ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಲೈಬ್ರರಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ನೀವು? NumPy, then which are the libraries you have used during the internship course duration in any in solving any machine learning problem statement, or working with any data set? So what are the other libraries you have used? Fine. So NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, sklearn, right? So these are all the basic libraries you have used in solving any machine learning problem statements. Okay, so let us import those. So basically to start with any work, so these three are the basic libraries. Okay, so NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. Okay, so NumPy, as any machine learning algorithm, does not read the categorical data directly. We need to convert those into numerical values, and the libraries which is specifically used to work with the numbers is NumPy, and Pandas is to work with the data set and to exploratory data analysis. For all this purpose, we can use the Pandas, and Matplotlib is for data visualization. Okay, and Seaborn is nothing but the advanced version of the Matplotlib itself. So we can see more colors and more methods and more advanced way of visualizing the data. Okay, instead of typing multiple statements in the Matplotlib, we can use the single function in the Seaborn. Okay, so and we can have the different color combinations there and we can have the attractive way of visualizing the data, okay, in the Seaborn library. Okay, so and to the when it comes to the basic part, so it will be the basic library. Okay, NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib are the basic libraries you can use to start work with any data set. Okay, to solve any problem statement in the machine learning algorithm, using machine learning algorithm. Okay, so after importing the libraries, you have to come to the next step, which is importing the data set. Okay, so libraries na import madadmele next step ಏನು data set na import ಮಾಡೋದು. Okay, so import the data set using the methods what you have come across. Okay, so as most of the files were stored in the .csv extension, you can just use the method read_csv to load the dataset into your program. Okay, so if your file is with the extension like churn_modeling.xlsx extension, then you have to use the method like read underscore excel. Okay, if in case if you are if your dataset is with a extension like .hdf or .json or dot names, the methods are different for different extension, different types of files. Okay, so make sure what kind of file you are using and what's the method you are using. Okay, so sometimes it will be the error for your problems, like whatever the error you are getting in your way of solving the problem. Okay, so your model will, your dataset will be in the dot names extension and you are reading it with the read underscore csv model. Okay, so that in such cases you will get the errors, you are not able to return, you will not able to load the data set into your program. Okay, so make sure what's the method and what's the extension of the file. Okay, so once you are started working with the data set. Okay, so after importing the data set, what's the next step? It is exploring the data. Okay, study the data set to explore, to analyze the data set. Okay, so that can be performed by using the different methods which are available in the pandas library, and you can use the graphs to visualize the data distribution in the data set. Okay, and to compare the features and the effect of one feature on the other feature. So to do all these things you can take the help of libraries. Okay, though using the pandas library you have different methods like info method, describe method, column count columns, count values, just values, value counts. So all these and just columns and d types. So all these are the methods which are used to explore the data set, what kind of features we have, what are the data types which are present in your data set, and how many samples you have and how many features you have. So those are all the things you can get just by using the methods. Okay, so you, when you have thousands of data sets and you may not know the samples or samples count or the features count, so then you can just go for the methods. Okay, so first method we have used is data.info. Okay, so data.info method is used to explore the data set, like whatever the features we have and how many samples we have and what are the data types for each and every features, those can be returned in this by this method. Okay, if you have used the info method, you will get the total count of samples, that means rows in your data set, and how many features you have, and what are all the data types for each and every features, so that can be returned using this method. So if for our current problem statement, whatever the data set we have considered and loaded, so this contains 1000 samples which is ranges from 0 to 10,000 samples which ranges from 0 to 9,999, and we have about 14 features. Okay, out of those 2 are with a floating point data type, and 9 are with the integer type, and 3 are with the object type, that is a categorical data. Okay, so except 3, that is surname and geography, gender. So all other data types will be in the form of numerical form. You can observe here surname, gender, geography. So except this, all will be in the numerical form. So out of these, what can be the which features can be considered as the independent feature and which feature can be considered as the dependent feature? So can you tell me? So these are all the features we have. Okay, we have features like row number, customer ID. Row number will represent the row number, like sample number or a customer number, customer count, and second customer ID will gives you the customer ID of a customer, bank customer. Surname is surname of a person or the customer. Credit score is the score of a customer, and geography from where he came from. And gender, what's the gender of the customer. Age, what's the age. Tenure represents the from how many years he's staying in that bank. And the balance, his bank balance, number of products, and his does he have any credit card, or is he an active member, like continuously going to going to perform transactions or not. So, and what's the estimated salary for him, and is he a currently bank customer or not, is already left, it's already closed his account and left the bank. So these are all the features which are considered in this data set. So now tell me, in these set of features, which feature is considered as a dependent, and which are all the features considered as the independent features, okay, which is in and which is dp. ಯಾವ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ನ ನೀವು ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅಂಡ್ ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಫೀಚರ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಹೇಳಿ. ಕಮ್ ಆನ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಫೀಚರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಫೀಚರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಫೀಚರ್, okay, and these will be used for predicting the result. So this set of features will be used for predicting the result. And dependent feature is what the target which we are going to predict the value of that dependent feature, okay, and it is dependent on rest all the features. Okay, so out of this list, so which features can be considered as the independent features and which feature is considered as a dependent feature, input and output. Tell me which features you are going to consider as independent and dependent. Sindhu? Sindhu, tell me which feature you are going to consider as independent and which feature you are going to consider as dependent feature. Meghana?
Ma'am, your voice is not audible, ma'am.
Which feature you are going to consider as an independent feature and which feature you are going to consider as independent feature? Dependent and independent features ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಡಾಟಾ ಸೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿ. So this is the list of the features. Okay, fine. So out of these features, So except the exited feature, rest all feature will contribute in predicting the result, right? So what's our problem statement? To predict whether a customer is going to retain in the same bank or is going to exit from the bank, right? So that will be decided from the feature which we have collected here. So out of these features, exited feature is going to contribute in analyzing, in getting the result, right? So this is what the feature you are going to get, like you are going to decide whether he is going to retain or he is going to exit. Okay, so to predict this result, so all other rest features will going to will work as the base. Okay, using all these features we are going to predict whether he is going to retain in the same bank or is going to exit from the bank. Okay, so therefore features like row number, customer ID, surname, credit score, geography, gender, age, tenure, balance, number of products, has credit card, is active member, and estimated salary comes under the independent feature set, and exited feature comes under the dependent feature. Okay, so our in will be all these features, and our DP will be this feature. Okay, so and what are the data types of all other features are listed here. So and next if I want to get the statistical information about the features, numerical features, then you can use the method described. So describe method will gives you the statistical information, statistical data about all the numerical features. Okay, so when it comes to the row number and customer row number, total count of samples we have is 1000, and total number of out of total of these samples, the mean value is 5000. That means the middle value, average value will be 5000. Okay, and the standard deviation becomes 2886.89, and the minimum value is 1, max is 1000. 25th percentile is 2500, 50th percentile is 5000, and 75th percentile is 7500. Likewise, all the calculations are made and returned as a results for all the numerical valued features. Okay, so as customer ID, credit score, age, tenure, balance, number of products, has credit card, is active member, estimated salary, so all these features and exited. So all these features will have the numerical values, so that these values can give the statistical information, statistical data. Okay, so those will be returned here. Okay, so all the information you got here. So using this information you can easily handle with the missing data and the categorical data. Okay, if you are if you have any missing values in your data set which is of numerical value, then you can easily and instead of calculating the mean, or instead of calculating the standard deviation or the minimum or the mode or most frequent value, you can just take this use this method and get the value here, and you can just replace it. Okay, so otherwise you can, if you want to use the strategies like mean, mode, or median, or most frequent, then the built-in methods will be available, you can just use those. So otherwise if in case like if you are going to fill it manually, then by any of these values like standard deviation, minimum value or maximum value, so or any of these values, then you can search for it and you can fill it instead of manually calculating it. Okay. And using these two methods you can get lots of information, and after this if you are get the tail, if you get the top rows, so this will be the result. Okay, so after these pre-processing steps, so sorry, after the exploration steps, by using any methods from the pandas library. So these will be the results. Okay, so what are all the missing values? If you want to know, then you can go for this method. Okay, so is null dot sum, so it will give you the total number of missing values in your data set, missing samples in your data set for any feature. If you have any missing values, that count of missing values for each and every feature will be returned here. And by seeing this, you can go for decision. You can decide whether to handle with a categorical handle with the missing data, and in which way you are going to solve it. So those things you can decide by exploring this thing. Okay, so whether your data set contains any missing values or not. Okay, so that thing will be returned by this method. Okay, so after this you can visualize your graph, visualize your data set by just knowing how much percentage of your data set contains the customer details which you have already exited and retained. Okay, so out of 100%, 79.6% of your samples, so of our samples of our customers are retained in the same bank, and only 20.4% of the customers were exited. Okay, so you can just take a count of it and observe what kind of information you will get, what kind of analysis you get. So maximum of the customers will retain in the same bank, in the sense, so they are getting the satisfaction by the services of that by the services provided by that bank. Okay, so and 20% of the customers are exited, in the sense maybe some kind of personal issues were occurred, or maybe some transfers are happened with that customer. So like such things might be happen. Okay, so this kind of analysis you can get from the graphs. Okay, so after this you can check for plotting different feature with the result, dependent feature, like different independent feature with the dependent features. So how many customers from different geographical space are exited, and how many are returned. Okay, so that thing you can get it from here when you plot the graph count graph for geography versus exited. Okay, many of the customers from the France are not exited, and some of only exited, and many of the Spain customers are not also exited, and many of the customers are all from the Germany are also not exited. Okay, only few were exited, and most of them are retained. Okay, and most of the customers are from France itself. Okay, and some from the Spain, and very few from the Germany. Okay, so and when it comes to the gender, the male customers are many, and out of those male customers only few are exited, and most of them are retained in the same bank. When it comes to the male, the count is less, where like when it compares to the male, the count of female customers are less, and even though in that sense also in that case also female customers, and most of the female customers are retained in the same bank, and very few are left. Okay, so and when it comes to the has credit card, the customers who have a credit card from that by that bank, and in this case also most of the customers with credit card have retained in the same bank, and very few are left, very few are exited from that bank. Okay, so when it comes to the active member also, so most of the services are satisfied by the bank, and they are going to retain in the same bank. Okay, so from these graphs we can came to conclusion, like we can analyze the below points. Okay, whatever we have mentioned here. So majority of the data is from a person from the France. However, the proportion of the churn customers is inversely related to the population of the customers. Okay, so if your population and when it comes to the population and the customers, proportion of the churn customers, so it is inversely proportional. Okay. And when it comes to the proportion of female customers, churn is also greater than that of the male customers. Okay. So, and interestingly, majority of the customers are churned are those with the credit cards, because the most of the customers, more than 5,000 of the customers are grouped under has credit card criteria. Okay. So when it comes to the criteria, like is active member, like about approximately 4,000 uh, 200 or 300 customers will be considered and will be covered. Okay. When it comes to all other graphs also, most of the customers are covered when this feature has taken for count. Okay. So like such you can analyze your data, so which has the most effect on in predicting the uh, result. Okay. Among these, has credit card lies in the first priority, and gender lies in the second priority, its active member lies in the third priority, and geography lies in the last priority. Okay, whatever we have considered as the features, so out of those this will be the priority. Okay, so unsurprisingly then the inactive members have the greater churn. Here it is. Okay, so most of the active members are retained, and inactive members are also retained. Okay, but the inactive members which have left it from the bank is more when it compares to the active members. Okay, so active members ಗಿಂತ inactive members ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕಂಪನಿಯಿಂದ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂದ ಎಕ್ಸಿಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು. So such kind of analysis we can do from these graphs. Okay, so after performing all this analysis, we can make use of the box plot also to find out how the data is distributed, or you can make use of the scatter plot also to know how the data is distributed. Okay, so from any of the graphs, any of the graphs you're going to plot, so you'll get some one or the other conclusion, one or the other analysis. Okay, so how the data is distributed, how the features are affecting the results, and how features are affecting one another. So all these details will be analyzed when you plot the graphs, when you take the help of the methods which are available in the different libraries. Okay, so after performing EDA, you are going to perform the next step. So the next step is data pre-processing. Okay, so when it comes to the data pre-processing, so all these are the graphs, so which will gives you the more information when it comes to the geography separately, or gender separately, or age versus population. So likewise you are going to plot multiple graphs, and you are going to analyze how features are affecting, and how features are distributed, how the values are distributed throughout your data set. Okay, so after this you have the next process is to perform data pre-processing. Okay, so in the data pre-processing step, what are the things you are going to do is handling with the categorical data, handling with the numerical data, feature scaling, and train test split. Okay, so handling with the categorical data, handling with the numerical data has to be concentrated, and it will be decided when you perform EDA itself. Okay, so when you perform EDA, so in that itself you came to know that is there any categorical data type or a feature is present in your data set, and is there any missing values is present in your data set. Okay, so if you got for info method, if you got an info method, so you'll get information of all these details, like how many samples you have, how many features you have, and what is the data type of each and every sample. Okay, so is there any object type feature will be present, then you have to convert those features into numerical features. Okay, so and is there any missing values will be present in a data set, then you have to fill it using any of the strategies, any of the three ways. Okay, so here we have used before handling with all these steps, so we have removed the unnecessary features from the data set. So before like ಯಾವುದೇ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾವ್ದು ನೆಸಸರಿ, ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್, ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫೀಚರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ವಿ ಶಲ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಟಿ. Okay, so and processing speed and time also. Okay, so as customer ID, surname, row number, these are all the unnecessary features in our data set which are not contributing that much for predicting the results. Okay, so that's why just remove all these columns and make it as a new data set. Okay, so our final next modified data set will contains only credit score, geography, gender, age, tenure, balance, number of products, has credit card, is active member, estimated salary, and exited columns. Okay, so when you get the shape of it, firstly we have 14 columns, and when you modified it, when you dropped the unnecessary columns, you will be available with the 10,000 samples and 11 features. Okay, so out of this your categorical data is with the geography, gender and age, gender, right? Just a sec. Okay, your surname, geography and gender will be in the categorical form. So as the customer ID, surname, row number, so those are all not needed for your problem statement, which as these are not contributing in predicted result, these will be removed, these will be dropped, and rest all features will be considered. So out of this, geography and gender are categorical data, and we didn't have any missing values here, so we don't need to perform any handling with any missing data. That means we don't need to perform any imputing things here. So we just need to concentrate on converting categorical data into numerical data. So to convert categorical data into numerical data, we have different ways. We can make use of a label encoding, a one-hot encoding, or else directly we can use get dummies method to convert categorical data into numerical data. Okay, so once you have used the get dummies method, it will work as one-hot encoding itself. Okay, so get dummies method use ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ one hot encoding ಥರನೇ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so after performing one hot encoding, you'll able to get converted categorical data converted to a numerical data. Okay, so on feature scaling, when it comes to the feature scaling, we have to do feature scaling because observe the values here. So for balance we have like lakhs together values, and for credit score just having the hundreds, and age will be tens, and tenor will be in a numerical value. So all will be in the different range of values, different scales of values. So for that purpose you need to convert all to be in a specific scale, to be in a single scale, so that you will be available with the features with all with the equal priority. Okay, so for that purpose you need to perform feature scaling, and feature scaling can be performed either by doing standardizing the data or by normalizing the data. So as you can use any of these, either standardization or normalization. Okay, so we're going to perform standardization. After performing the standardization, we'll able to get this result. Okay, after all these steps you can perform train test split. Okay, so here we just shuffled. Okay, as I said, so these 4 steps are the things you are going to do in the handling missing data, handling categorical data, feature scaling, and train test split. Okay, so these are the these are the things you are going to do in the data pre-processing phase itself, but the order is not mandatory. You can do as per the requirement, as per your wish, as per the requirement. You can change the order of these processes. Okay, like within the data pre-processing, just I'm telling. So rest all the outer features, outer steps should be followed in the same way, but within the data pre-processing, what are all the things you are going to do? So though that order can be shuffled, okay, can be changed. Okay, so here first I have splitted the data set into input and independent and the dependent set, and then I have split it into training set and the testing set. Okay, after that I am going to perform feature scaling and after that I am going to perform encoding and the feature scaling. Okay, so finally I'll be available with the 4 set of values: input, independent train, independent test, dependent train and dependent test, all with the without any missing values, without any categorical values, with the perfect feature scaled values. Okay, so now we are ready to feed the data set into the model. Okay, so next, select the model. Okay, so as this is a classification kind of problem, we have to select any classification algorithms. As you have come across, you have known, you have studied about the decision tree and k nearest neighbor algorithm. So we shall take any of that, one of that algorithm in to solve this problem. Okay, so after selecting the model, so next step is to train the model. So firstly, select the model. You can select the model by importing the model. Okay, select the model and import the library and create an instance of the model. Okay, create an instance of the method algorithm. Okay, after this, train the model. Okay, by providing it with the training part of the dependent train set and independent train set. Okay, so whatever the split you are going to create it, so that you should do it here. Okay, so after this step, check the accuracy of the model. Okay, so check the accuracy of the model. So after training, check the accuracy of the model, evaluate the model. Okay, so finally, once you are done with the checking, once you are done with the evaluation of the model, so then deploy the model by just using the predict method. Okay, so this is how you're going to solve your problem. So whatever the problem statement may be, so you can solve it by using the machine learning techniques. Okay, so this is how you can you might be practice with these steps, like calling an instance of the method, training the model, and predicting the results and predicting the score of it, and getting the confusion matrix is also done for you, right? So you can easily understand what these statements will do, right? So confusion matrix will gives you the true positive and true negative results, and false positive and false negative results. Okay, so how the calculations will be and accuracy will be predicted from this confusion matrices. So first, for the first row, you will get like true positive and true negative result, and for the next row, you will get like false positive and false negative results. That means if your actual values are true, but you are getting it as positive result, that means for the true values you are going to get the true values itself. Okay, so and second value represents, for the true values you get false values in the predicted result. Okay, so and the second row, first column value what is present is 219 represents, for the false values you get true values, true results when you predicted it. Okay, and for the last value will represent, for the false values you will get the false results itself. Okay, that means it will going to compare what's the actual value and what's the predicted value. Okay, if you get the actual value as true, like y test ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಟ್ರೂ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ y ಪ್ರೆಡಿಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದು ಫಾಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. Okay, so if you get true in the actual value and true in the predicted value, then it will be referred as true positive. Okay, so if we have false in the actual value and we get false in the predicted value, then it is false negative. Okay, if you are getting if we have like actual value as false but you got the result as true, then it will be false positive. Okay, so the accuracy will be true positive plus false negative divided by true positive plus true negative, false positive plus false negative. Okay, so that means a true positive, this is true positive, true negative, false positive, false negative. 1004 plus 290 divided by 219, 1004 plus 287 plus 290 plus 290. Okay, so what's the value we'll get? So that will be the accuracy of the model. Okay, somewhat like you got about 79% itself. Okay, 79.76. So as I multiplied it by 100, so same thing you can do it here. Okay, so this is what the accuracy will get. Okay, for the confusion metric, like different metrics are there to check to evaluate the model. So this is what the different metrics. So you can use the just score method, or you can use the confusion matrix, you can use the precision, you can use the recall, you can use the classification report. Okay, so different metrics, different tools are available to predict the accuracy of the model. Fine. And finally, if you want to deploy it, you need to feed the model with a sample input independent value set. Independent feature set ಏನಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ values, the sample values ನೀವು pass ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, then you'll able to get with the results. When you get this, you'll be available with the value either 0 or 1. 0 in the sense they are retained in the same company, same bank, and 1 in the sense they are moved, they are exited from the bank. Okay, so if you get y predict equals 0, so he is not a if you get value 0, he is the active member, and if you get as 1, not a active member. Okay, is exited. Okay, so this is how you can solve a problem. So whether to predict the customer whether he is going to retain in the same company, same bank, or he is going to exit from the bank. He is going to close his bank account and exit from the bank. Okay, so this is how you can perform churn modeling. Fine. So that's about this is about one project.